Michael Shikha Niketan Higher Secondary Government-sponsored co-ed English medium school has taken an excellent initiative of teaching and make our students learn day-to-day lessons through audio and video in our YouTube channel. Teachers of all the subjects are working hard to enhance these online classes in the midst of this pandemic situation. It is a request to all the teachers, students and guardians to click the bell icon and subscribe our channel.
Today's class is the subject is history and the class is class 7 and the lesson number is 6. Okay, and the name of the lesson is towns, traders and trade. So I repeat, towns, traders and trade. So before starting this chapter, first please open your textbook and the page number is 91. So we shall be starting today's reading and then explaining and discussing the questions along with the chapters. Okay, so the page number is 91 and the chapter is 6. The lesson is 6, page number 91. So let's start with knowing what is town. Okay, so town, we all know the common meaning of town is shahar, that is town, and nagar is also city. So both of the name gives similar meaning, but only the difference is that shahar is Persian language and nagar is Sanskrit language. So shahar is Persian language and nagar is Sanskrit language. Both city and town gives almost a similar meaning for these two. Now in this chapter we shall be reading about Delhi. Our main concentration will be Delhi, but before Delhi, so let's come in towns of medieval India, in the part of towns of medieval India. So there it has been said that during the Sultanate and Mughal Empire, villages and towns gradually emerged related to economic and political outcomes. What is related to economic and political outcomes? It means that the towns and villages emerged only because of economic purposes, and economic is related to finances, economic is related to your business purposes, trades purposes. So economically, the first reason for emergence of towns is economically, and number 2 is politically outcome. So what were the reasons behind the political outcomes? It means if some sultanate, for example, sultanate or Mughal empire is coming and going, and various kind of kings and their kingships are ruling upon on one towns and rebuilding another town in separate place. So gradually it is, to some extent, it is linked with the political atmosphere. So the two main reasons behind the emergence of towns and various villages were first economic and number 2 is political outcome. So, and from which time to what time? From 13th century to 16th century. I repeat the time, from 13th century to 16th century. So there were various cities and towns who had emerged during this particular period of time. The first is Pandua, Godda, Navadvip, Chittagong in Bengal, then Lahore in Punjab, Agra in North India. Agra been rebuilt or built by Mughal Empire. Fatehpur Sikri again built during the rule of Mughal Empire, built by Mughals. Berhampur, Golconda, Bijapur in Deccan, and Ahmedabad and Surat. Okay, so these are some of the towns, or this is some cities which has emerged during 13th to 16th century, which is eventually made by Sultanate period and the Mughal Empire period or Mughal kingship period. Now in this chapter we only reading about, we are concentrating about the Delhi. So how Delhi has emerged, what were the reasons behind Delhi for emergence of as a city, or it coming as an outcome as a capital city of India later on. But here it has been said that Delhi had been built and rebuilt almost 16 to 18 times. The parts of Old Delhi and the parts of New Delhi. So the parts of New Delhi have been to some extent made by the second number Mughalian dimensions, that is from the era of Shah Jahan. Okay. So as we know some name of the place, that is Shahjahanabad and Shahjahanpur. So this has been made during Shah Jahan, or during the kingship of Shah Jahan, that is present day South Delhi and New Delhi. In the parts of New Delhi and the places South Delhi. There he had made innumerable tanks and canals and palaces and mosques, masjid, hospitals, parks and so on. Likewise, in Old Delhi, the parts of Delhi Sultanate. So, Delhi Sultanate, as we have already discussed in the 4th chapter about Delhi Sultanate. So, today's Old Delhi was a part of Delhi Sultanate and to some extent a somewhat part of the Mughalian era. And later on, from the kingship of Akbar and the last ruling period of Shah Jahan, we are seeing that the emergence of Fatehpur Sikri in Agra, or the emergence of Agra as a city. Now, before knowing about Delhi, so in this chapter only we shall be learning about how Delhi emerged as a kingdom, and later on how it emerged as a city or town, what were the profits or non-profits, why it came, like what are the suburbs areas of Delhi and so on. We shall be only considering about Delhi, and we are learning about Delhi and the parts of the Delhi. Now, let's come to the board. That as I have written over here, Delhi, the history of Delhi, how many times I have mentioned it, and knowing all the cities which have made during 13th to 16th century, Delhi was part of one of the most important criteria in ruling kingship. Okay, so while we are saying that ruling kingship, it was one of the most important parts of the Delhi Sultanate and the Mughalian time. Why? There's various reasons behind that. As Delhi is consisting about the Doab region of Ganga Yamuna, hence the Delhi the land is very fertile. So on that particular way, the cultivation grows very naturally or very steadily and very fast. As for the river basins, or as for the regions of river, they are the tropical, that is a very tropical rainforest area during that time. So, Delhi or the parts of Delhi used to be very nominal, it's not nominal but it's very normal in terms of adequate rainfall during that time. So, there are various reasons behind the emergence of Delhi, or the power of Delhi included or emerged as one of the most powerful states or kingdom in the entire subcontinent of India. The first reason is that the Delhi is consisting of Ganga Yamuna Doab region. Number 2, the land is very fertile. Number 3, adequate rainfall. And number 4, that as the inland trade, the easiest way of inland trade. Okay. So, not only the land trade but overseas also. So, the easiest way of trading overseas from various countries to various countries, and from other outside of foreign inlands to India and so on. So, let's start with reading some of the important aspects of your chapter. So, first we are here, take out page number 91. I have already explained 6.1 towns of medieval India. I have explained it that these were the towns which were prevalent in medieval India, the towns, the name of the towns were Pandua, Gauda, Nawabdip, Chittagong in Bengal, Lahore in Punjab, Agra in North India, Fatehpur Sikri built by Mughal Empire, which is a part of medieval ruling time, Burhanpur, Golconda, Bijapur in Deccan, and Ahmedabad and Surat. So now we are starting discussing from 6.1.1, that is Delhi, the capital of the sultans from 13th century to the beginning of 16th century. So here we shall be learning about Delhi and how the Delhi has become the capital of sultan from the time period of 16th century to the beginning of 13th century to beginning of 16th century. I repeat the same. In this part of subtopic, we are going to learn about why and how Delhi had become the capital city of the Sultanate or the Sultans from the time of 13th century to the beginning of 16th century. Okay. So, let's start here. Please concentrate in your textbook. Delhi is geographically located at the confluence of the Aravalli range and riverine plains of the Yamuna. I have explained the first point earlier that Delhi is geographically located. It means the location of Delhi was based on the Aravalli range of the Himalayan. The Aravalli range of the Himalayan, and the not only the upper side or the ranges of high ranges, but the Yamuna is also the Delhi is also consisted of the plain regions, and it is the Doab region of the river Yamuna. It was convenient to build well protected forts here because of the slope of the land and the availability of building materials from the Aravalli's land. So, it has been said that the buildation of the fortified walls is way more easier for them to build a fortified wall, okay, as it is plain in region, and generally what it says, the Doab regions and the regions, the land is very fertile and it is very soft in terms of availability, and the exceptions or the materials, raw materials which can be get from the Aravalli ranges, it means the mountains of Aravals. Again, the river Yamuna was the main waterway and the natural frontier to the east. Hence, from time immemorial, it means since from the ancient time, rulers and merchants were attracted to this region. So, what was the main reason behind the attraction of Delhi as a region? The main attraction was that the rulers and merchants were attracted due to the Aravalli range, okay, and the plain region of river Yamuna. It was cultivable, it was very fertile, and it is one of the most easiest way to have a inland and overseas trade for the merchants and for the travelers. So, that's why the main attraction of Delhi was so. Now, turn your page number 92. Here, did you know box. Come to did you know box, page number 92. Did you know box, Delhi of bygone days. So, here we shall be learning about how Delhi was in past. Delhi was built and rebuilt many times. Modern Delhi is believed to have been built on the site of Indraprastha. So, what is Indraprastha, or where Indraprastha has been resided? Indraprastha was one of the most important capital city in the times of Mahabharata. Yes, you heard right. In the times of Mahabharata, Indraprastha was the capital city of the Mahabharata period. So, the present day modern Delhi, that is New Delhi, have been built in the sites or in the areas of Indraprastha. Let's continue from the second line, last word after comma. The legendary capital in the Indian epic Mahabharata. The name Delhi is recorded to have been used during the 10th century BC during the reign of an heir of the famous Mauryas. Long after, a branch of the Rajput rulers is said to have ruled in Delhi. They were ousted by the Chauhans, Rajputs during the 12th century BC. The Delhi Sultanate was established by Muhammad Ghuri, which I have explained in your 4th chapter, the commander-in-chief of Qutbuddin Aibak. Till date, evidence of 7 urban settlements have been found in Delhi. So, how many urban settlements have been found in Delhi? There are 7 settlements, 7 urban settlements have been found in Delhi. So, if the question comes, how many urban settlements have been found as evidence in Delhi, then your answer would be 7. Let's continue. In the medieval age, the growth and development of Delhi had 2 phases. The first was Delhi in the 13th and 14th century. Second was Shahjahanabad, built by the Mughal Emperor Shah Jahan in the 17th century. We will read about the changes of Delhi that occurred in these 2 phases. So, our main first we are learning about how Delhi have been changed, or how the changes of the occurrence change in Delhi. That particular change, the period of change has been divided into 2 parts. First is 13th and 14th century, and number 2 is the 17th century. So, during 17th century, Shah Jahan, the Mughal Emperor, had rebuilt Delhi and named it as the Shahjahanabad, and in 13th and 14th century, the medieval period of Delhi Sultanate had rebuilt and built for making the Delhi. So, first, During the time of Qutbuddin Aibak, now we are concentrating on the time of Delhi Sultanate. It means the ruling time of Delhi Sultanate in Delhi. How the Delhi Sultanate had or how the Sultans of Delhi had rebuilt or built Delhi, we shall be concentrating here in the second paragraph, first line. During the time of Qutbuddin Aibak, Delhi grew around Qila Rai Pithora, the town of the Rajput rulers. This was the first Delhi or Qutub Delhi during the time of the Sultanate. Later, during the reign of Ghiyasuddin Balban, a suburb called Ghiyaspur was founded on the bank of the river Yamuna. While I am reading it, please underlining this particular paragraph. This is very important. Ghiyaspur was founded on the banks of the river Yamuna. Balban's grandson Kaikobad built the Kailughari palace towards in the end of the 13th century AD near the river Yamuna. Don't forget, the entire Delhi, the build of Delhi had only been rebuilt and built near the suburbs area or the coastal areas of Yamuna river. Jalaluddin Khilji's Sher-e-Nau or the new city was built around this place. The city was crowded by the amirs and the chieftains. They were accompanied by singers and musicians. So what we are learning in the second paragraph, we are reading that during the time of Qutbuddin Aibak, Delhi grew as a name of Qila Rai Pithora. Okay, Qila Rai Pithora. And apart from that, many Rajput rulers also ruled during that particular time in the particular area or region. So the first Delhi or Qutub Delhi. So Delhi earlier used to be known as Qutub Delhi during the time of Sultanate period, that is during the time of Delhi Sultanate era. Later, during the reign of Ghiyasuddin Balban, okay, so the last strongest hire of the Mamluk dynasty, Ghiyasuddin Balban, a suburb, Ghiyasuddin Balban during his rule, a suburb he has made, and the particular town's name was Ghiyaspur. Please underline this, Ghiyaspur. And it was founded on the bank of river Yamuna again. And after that, Balban's grandson Kaikobad built the Kailughari palace towards the end of the 13th century. So again near the river of Yamuna. And after that, Jalaluddin Khilji rebuilt or built a new city and named it Sheher-e-Nau. And in that particular area, generally armies and chieftains used to be lived there. Now, next paragraph, page number 92, last paragraph. During the reign of Sultan Alauddin Khilji, a strong fort was built at Siri to safeguard the people from the Mongol incursion. What is the meaning of Mongol incursion? The meaning of Mongol incursion is the Mongol invasion. So, during the time of Delhi Sultanate period era or the time of Mughal Sultanate, constant warfare or constant conflicts were having the pressures from the Mongols, that is the Mongolian tribe Genghis Khan and his followers from outside of the India. So, to build a protection warfare or to build a protection fortified wall, they build a strong safeguard place and named is Siri. Okay, and this has been built by Sultan Alauddin Khilji. Next, after full stop, Sultan Ghiyasuddin Tughlaq built Tughlaqabad a little distant from the old city Purana Shahar to live with his followers. But the place could never become a capital city or commercial center. During the time of Muhammad bin Tughlaq, an attempt was made to build a wall around Qutub Delhi, that is the old city or the old Delhi, Siri and his own Jahanpana to create a bigger city. But that endeavor remained incomplete. Thus, in spite of all these changes, the first Delhi, that is Qutub Delhi or Old Delhi of the Sultanate, had never lost its significance. So, if the question comes like what was the significance for the buildation of Old Delhi, and for writing the particular answer of that particular question, what you have to do? You have to write in. You have to take out some points from this particular paragraph, that is the third number paragraph from page number 92. And to assess the answer, you have to start first explaining that who built Old Delhi, who built Qutub Delhi, and why the significance had not lost from the old Delhi, what were the main reasons for that, and then you can continue writing your answer. So, in the page number 93, there have been given one chart. Come to page number 93. Okay, so there is given a chart. So, here you have been able to understand that what are the kingship or what are the kingdoms who have ruled on Delhi, and the buildation and rebuildation of Delhi occurred simultaneously. So, I am reading this out. Please concentrate here in the page number 93 in your chart, that is city established by, dynasty, time, this one. Okay. So, Kila Rai Pithora, it was the name of a city, and it was established by Prithviraj Chauhan, and Prithviraj Chauhan ruled Delhi, the capital city was Delhi, and he ruled the northern and central parts of India during 8th to 9th century BC, Prithviraj Chauhan. Okay, and he was Rajput Chauhan, and the time is 1100 to 80. Next city was rebuilt, that is Siri, and I have already explained Alauddin Khilji rebuilt it for the outcome invasions of Mongol tribes. Third, Tughlaqabad, it has been built by Ghiyasuddin Tughlaq, and from the title of Tughlaq, the Tughlaqabad came. Next is, that is fourth number is Jahanpanah. Jahanpanah have been made by Muhammad bin Tughlaq again, then Firozabad, Firoz Shah Tughlaq, then Din Panah Shergah constructed by Humayun and Sher Shah Suri, and the last is Shahjahanabad rebuilt by the Emperor Shah Jahan. Now please turn your page 94. So here we shall be reading about or learning about the sultans gradually made the presence of Delhi as one of the most significant city in the history of medieval period. Okay. So here, while the sultans were gradually making their presence felt in Delhi, there rose a turbulent martial tribe called the Mongols in Central Asia. So, the Mongolian tribe had been named as a turbulent martial tribe. So, what is the meaning of turbulence? The meaning of turbulence is disturbance. We have already read about them. We have already read about them in chapter number 4 and chapter number 5, and we are continuing reading about them in chapter number 6 also. These Mongols had destroyed the city Baghdad. So, who destroyed the city of Baghdad? Mongols destroyed the city of Baghdad, which was a big center of the Muslim civilization. Don't forget that. Please underline this line. There is page number 94, first paragraph above the did you know box, and the line is this Mongols, this cut out Mongols and underline Mongols had destroyed the city of Baghdad, which was a big center of the Muslim civilization. And the question is, who destroyed the city Baghdad? I repeat the question, who destroyed the city Baghdad? Okay. So, this helped Delhi to develop. It became the seat of the Sufi saints and was popularly referred to as Hazrati-e Delhi. Okay, Delhi's another name was Hazrati-e Delhi. Why it has been named as Hazrati-e Delhi? Because during this particular Baghdad area, Sufi saints and musicians used to live there. So, hence simultaneously the Delhi came to be known as Hazrati-e Delhi. The famous Sufi saint Nizamuddin Auliya lived here during this time. We will read about the Sufi saints in chapter number 7 later on. Okay, so please read in your home the did you know box, that is Delhi is still far away. And to know the story regarding why it has been stated as a quoted way that Delhi is still far away, you have to read the particular box. Now in the third paragraph, the city of Delhi changed to great extent in the second half of the 14th century. In the first line it has been said that, so as we have started reading about the buildation and fortification of Delhi from the 13th century, now after 1 century, that is after 100 years in the 14th century, we are learning about that the city, the city has changed simultaneously. Okay. So, what happened in the great extents in the second phase of the 14th century, but not in the first phase. In the 14th century second phase, the city Firozabad came up around Firozshah Kotla and not amidst the stones of the Aravali region. So, the Firozabad, the buildation of the fortification of the city Firozabad had made near the Kotla region of Delhi, not in the regions of Aravalli hills. Since it stood along the bank of the river Yamuna, water supply was never a problem there. Okay, the river also enabled easy transportation of goods, then thus bringing the price of essential commodities within the reach of the common people. The old city of the Sultanate was gradually reduced to ruins. One cannot say for certain whether the new city Firozabad was able to take the place of the ruined city. However, Firoz Shah Tughlaq had certainly changed the format for building of cities. From then on, the Afghans and Mughals built several forts and cities beside the rivers, that is Yamuna. We come to know of many markets in Delhi Sultanate where Indians as well as foreign merchants would come with their wares. We will learn in the later on.
Thanks for watching. Leave a like and comment. Subscribe. And do share the video among your friends.